Hey guys, what's going on? It's Eli, back with another review video, and yes, of course, continuing on, reviewing more Christmassy materials on the weekends. And that's right, you read the title, and as was teased in the last review video, well, a Muppets Christmas special, where in this one, well, the Muppets, they tried their best to deliver a couple of letters to Santa himself. Yeah. And yes, because, this Muppets Christmas special, came out in 2008, and, I remember, when this came out, and, watching it, and yeah, so that's right. From 2008, A Muppets Christmas, Letters to Santa. Yes. Letters to Santa. Again, because I remember when this came out, I remember, if I remember correctly, because seeing the promos and trailers for this, and eventually when this came out, yeah. And even rewatching this, because, well, I knew that I was going to review this and had to, just in case, give it a rewatch. It's pretty good. I think it's still pretty good. I don't know, I mean, it may not be, like, one of the top best, like, Christmassy materials that the Muppets have done, but at the same time, it's not bad or anything. And, especially since, this is one of, like, say, the first, Muppet Christmas specials that Disney has done. And, I mean, of course, like, say, there's been Muppets Christmas Carol or anything else Christmassy, especially when the Muppets slowly but surely being a part of the Disney family and when they would officially become a part of the Disney family. So, yeah. And if I remember correctly, yeah, this is the first Muppets Christmas special since, like, say, It's a Very Merry Muppet Christmas. Yeah, so, and that too's not that bad, and I've, of course, done a review on that, if you want to go check that out. Yeah, Very Merry Muppet Christmas. Yeah, so, A Muppets Christmas Letters to Santa. What this Muppety Christmassy special has to offer, and, where the story goes, and what shenanigans our beloved Muppet characters get into, and how, as we all know, when it seems like it's kind of low and down for our Muppets, in the end, it all turns out great. Yeah, and in this case, for A Muppets Christmas, Letters to Santa. Yeah, but just overall, I think this is really good, and for any of you hardcore, like me, Muppet fans, and any of you that have seen this, and any of you, like me, getting to see this when it first debuted/aired, yeah, so, and I surprisingly remember that after this finished, then came on Patrick Stewart's A Christmas Carol. Well, anyways, but yeah, so, as always, for me, read the description/the story. When Gonzo accidentally diverts 3 letters to Santa, he talks Kermit and his friends into delivering them to the North Pole personally. Yeah, short, but yeah. But anyways, so short description/the story, but yeah. Anyways, so getting into Letters to Santa, the Muppets Christmassy special. This taking place in New York City, obviously, and, because, it starts off with, because one of the main human characters, Claire, being played by Madison Pettis, if I'm saying her last name right. We would know her best in being in a bunch of other Disney materials, like most notably Cory in the House, or say, Game Plan, and a lot more than that. And also, most notably, Disney Channel had always aired these, mostly ghostly. Yeah, so being one of the main ghost characters, and a lot more than that, of course, but yeah, so, she plays Claire, and we see that, she's writing a letter to Santa, and then the opening credits, show up, and, well, we see our Muppet characters, at, the the post office about to drop off some letters and such. Even a couple of times in Letters to Santa, we see these group of rats, being Christmas carolers, and they just, like, always getting into some clumsy situations, like getting hit or something, and when they're trying to sing. So, yeah. And our main cast of Muppet characters, and those who are at the post office: Kermit, Rizzo, the Great Gonzo, Miss Piggy, Fozzie, and Pepe the King Prawn. Yes. And by the way, I would like to point out, and maybe you guys knew this too, there are a few times, just only when, the only times where we see Fozzie right outside of the post office building. It's a different looking, version of Fozzie. Like how his appearance looked in A Very Merry Muppet Christmas, because at a certain point, and from there on, his look is different. Do you know what I'm saying? That was weird. I wonder what was up with that. And if you guys know this, but yeah, I'm sure maybe you noticed this too, yeah. Because at a certain point, especially in the late 2000s and early 2010s, even when, say, the first Muppet film in a long time happened, the 2011 Muppets film, some of the Muppet characters got a, fresh new makeover, like most notably Gonzo and Fozzie once again. Yeah, he got a new makeover, again in the 2011 Muppets film. Yes, so again, they are going to be delivering some letters, and Miss Piggy going on about her and Kermie, as she calls him, of going to the beaches of the Caribbean and such, yeah. And even her complaining on, the post office taking so long, because, nobody's moving, and just, it's funny. And even, just wanting to say this to the mayor, and which, yeah, it's him, yeah. That's amazing that they actually got him. Mayor Michael Bloomberg, yeah, he makes an appearance as himself, because he happens to be right outside of the post office about to drop off some letters, presumably, and Miss Piggy telling the mayor about, the line and wanting to, proceed on, but the mayor correcting Miss Piggy that it would be rude and so on. Yeah. And how could she argue with the mayor? And surely, because she can't, I don't think she would. I think she would know best not and be smart enough not to do something like that to the mayor. So, yeah. But then, Kermit starts off, and then everybody else, joins in singing, delivering Christmas, and, some good meanings to this song, as well as two other songs that we get later on in Letters to Santa. And, the first song number, Delivering Christmas, is a pretty good one. And another appearance that we get, because we all know, of course, when it comes to the Muppets, guest stars who would make appearances here and there, no matter what. So, aside from the mayor being one of the first ones, well, postal worker being played by Jesse L. Martin. Yeah. So he plays a postal worker who then joins in singing, even having Kermit and the gang come in and, offering them to help out and such, And also Sweetums being there, too, as some of the other Muppets. And by the way, because Sweetums in this being played by Noel McNeil. Yeah, Noel McNeil performed Sweetums in Letters to Santa. Of course, we all know McNeil best for, say, Bear. So, yeah. That was pretty cool. And, well, Noel McNeil being complete no stranger to being in full-body puppets. Because Bear being one of them, of course. Yeah, so I wonder, must have been an honor for him to actually get to perform and puppeteer Sweetums. You know what I mean? Just, yeah. Anyways, so, yeah, the song, again, is really good. And when at a certain point, well, he didn't intentionally mean to do so, Gonzo, thinking and suggesting that maybe it should be sped up and, pulls a lever and causing the letters to be, dropped off fast and such, just goes crazy. Even when at one point Kermit's, coat and such gets caught, and Fozzie, Miss Piggy, Rizzo, and Pepe tagging along trying to help Kermit, and Gonzo, he wants to try it out, the system, where the letters go. And they go in an event, and then they just come out and, being dropped in a bag, so, where the letters are. And the postal worker being pissed towards them and drops them back off to where they live. Yeah. Well, I mean, presumably they managed to deliver what they were supposed to deliver, the letters they had. So yeah. And also, outside of where they live, well, Stadler and Waldorf, of course we have to have them. Them, most of the time, they're out in a window and such. And of course, they do get some laughs, by this point, and the aftermath of what happened at the post office, well, them returning back to their apartment building, and, all of the Muppets, even Claire and her mother, which being, just credited as Claire's mother, being played by Jane Kowalski, if I'm saying her last name right. Again, you know me sometimes. Because they're going to be the only two together on Christmas, while all of Claire's Muppet friends are going to be going away for the holidays, vacation and such. I think even Claire's mom was kind of relieved, I want to say, that the Muppets wouldn't be around, because I guess for her, not to say that she hates them, but just, all the craziness that happens with them, I'm just saying. But, overall, because, for, say, Gonzo and Claire, they have a good friendship, and I like that, yeah. And Gonzo, well, he helped deliver Claire's letter to the post office to Santa at the North Pole. Or did he? Because he just happened to check in his backpack, and after, saying goodbye to Claire for now, apparently they were still in his backpack. Some letters that they were supposed to drop off, but didn't get a chance to, especially what happened at the post office, and yeah, so what now? Because he promised Claire that he would deliver her letter, and yeah. And then Kermit assuring Gonzo and telling him that they'll help him no matter what it takes to get those letters out there to the North Pole and for Santa to see. Yeah. So, the times where they try to help out Gonzo in any way possible to get those letters out, and to think that this is happening on Christmas Eve, so they've got a whole day to get this done. Well, for example, Fozzie and Gonzo, they first tried to go to the post office themselves, but unfortunately, they closed, so they missed their shot. Even when the first time they went there and shit happens, pardon my French, but it's true. And even, Fozzie and Gonzo, curious to see, what the letters say, and, they want to open them. But enter Sam the Eagle, and, telling Fozzie and Gonzo, and then telling directly at us, the audience, that it is a federal crime and you could go to prison. Really? Really, Sam? We would go to prison for that? I don't think so. Isn't that a bit far-fetched for Sam? I don't know. But, well, I mean, because maybe. Well, after all, we all know Sam and how, loyal of an American eagle he is, so, yeah. But that was funny. Sam just comes in and goes. That's it. So, yeah. Unfortunately, they are not able to deliver and drop off the letters at the post office, so what next? Well, at one point, there's one moment where they try to, ask for some pigeons to help out deliver the letters to the North Pole. And it's pretty funny because, and some of the other Muppeteers, and to name them, of course, Steve Whitmire, Kermit, obviously, Rizzo, Stadler, and I think, this was one of the first few times that Steve Whitmire got to be, at the time, the official Muppeteer / voice for Stadler, and also Beaker, obviously, Dave Goelz, Gonzo the Great, Waldorf, Dr. Bunsen Honeydew, and Zoot, and I presume as though Beauregard as well. Even though Beauregard doesn't get any lines, he's still there, and I assume that maybe at times Dave was puppeteering him, I guess, I don't know, but yeah. But overall, we do get Beauregard in this. Especially at that time, for just a little while, he was making silent appearances, but yeah. And also, yeah, Bill Beretta, Pepe the King Prawn, of course, the Swedish chef. His appearance is funny when we see him a little later on. Ralph, Dr. Teeth, Bobo the Bear, and Husband Pigeon. And yeah, because, as I said, you know, when they try to ask pigeons to help out and deliver the letters, well, yeah, Husband Pigeon being puppeteered and voiced by Bill Beretta, and the Husband Pigeon's wife, which be named Wife Pigeon. That was and Marty Robinson, yeah, because he did some of the characters too, yeah. Oh, yeah. And for Matt Volg, well, he was Sun Pigeon. So, yeah. Okay, there it is, yeah. Tyler Bunch. Tyler Bunch was the puppeteer / voice of the wife pigeon. Yeah. Yeah, because the wife pigeon giving her hubby a hard time just, you know, about delivering and so on. And, yeah, they're not making a good impression on Gonzo, Fozzie, and Kermit, and they just call it off, you know, because the pigeons aren't going to be any help because of the situation that they're having themselves, just, you know. And also, another moment where Dr. Bunsen Honeydew, you know, he and Beaker made this machine to, you know, basically a wishinator or something, you know, 3,000 and such, and, you know, wish for anything, and, well, maybe, you know, they can wish for the letters to be delivered and dropped at the North Pole. Yeah, so, you know, by testing it out, and Beaker, he tests it out, and it is a helmet. Beaker tests it out, and what he wished for, and because we can't speak his language, well, he basically wished for his very own girlfriend, and Beaker's girlfriend, as she's credited, being played by Petra Makova. I think I'm saying her last name right, yeah. even like, say, Fozzie, Gonzo, Kermit, Rizzo, Scooter being there too, especially Pepe, yeah, just surprised by the sight of Beaker's girlfriend, especially Pepe. We know Pepe, he's a ladies' man / prawn, you know, and Beaker's girlfriend, oh, Petra, she was a good sport in this, you know, her speaking in the same language as Beaker, me, so, and Honeydew telling and asking Beaker to take her back home and where she came from, but Beaker's refusing. Even Beaker's girlfriend doesn't want this. So what happens next? Beaker wishes to go back where she came from, you know, with her, and yeah, and that's the last we see of Beaker for now. So much on the invention that they made, and, you know, they can't use it because Beaker has it, so yeah. And the other options and ideas that they come up with, well, yeah, like what Scooter comes up with. Even at one point, Pepe helping out on this, and especially, well, it's nice on Pepe's part, but at the same time, Pepe, almost throughout this, being a doubter, and to quote from the Polar Express, "You're a doubter!" Because Pepe, he really, yeah, I think it's obvious. From what we can tell, he doesn't really buy in, you know, the existence of Santa Claus and stuff like that, you know. But at the same time, he still helps out, you know, for Gonzo and especially for Claire. So, and surely, because, yeah, Pepe knows how much this means to Gonzo and you know, for Claire, so yeah. And Miss Piggy, you know, getting upset a couple of times towards Kermit. You know, Kermit, not intentionally, of course, and, you know, the fact that Miss Piggy, we all know Miss Piggy, and not for her to come after me, but just, you know, because how she can overreact and take things the wrong way, because how much she dreams of her and her Kermie going to the Caribbean. But at the same time, there's other things that are currently happening right now on Christmas Eve that are more important. And this being one of them, trying to get the letters out, you know, and one of them being Claire's. Yeah. But yeah, and what the other Muppet characters do to deliver the letters, well, there's one moment, and as I mentioned, that happens with Pepe, and Rizzo tagging along with them, because they meet with these two guys, and, well, two other guests that we get in this, who are credited as mobsters. Yeah, the two mobsters, and I'm pretty sure this was almost like a Goodfellas reference, because one of them being in Goodfellas, That being the late Tony Siriso, I'm saying his last name right, yeah. And I also would remember him best. Well, I know him from Goodfellas and a lot of other great movies he's been in. Fantastic actor. But I also remember him best for, say, being the voice of Brian Griffin's temporary replacement, Vinny. If you know, you know, yeah. Even Tony Siriso at one point, saying, "Oh!" So, yeah. And now he did that for the character of Vinny, so yeah. So Pepe meets with these mobsters, and the other mobster being played by Steve Shrippa, if I'm saying his last name right by any chance. But you know who it is, I presume. Yeah, so Pepe meeting with them, and basically, yeah, to, get the letters out there to the North Pole. And Steve, being one of the mobsters, saying that, I know someone and someone's cousin, blah, 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 to get the letters out there to the North Pole, and the interactions that they have with Pepe, just, kind of getting a little intense, but especially for Tony, his mobster character, just not too fond with Pepe and, with shrimps and such, and, it's only them and Pepe that, knows about this and nobody else, and, to keep it a secret. And Rizzo popping in and saying, we won't tell anyone, and, it's called off because, the two mobsters, not trusting in rats, and as they make a statement on that, So yeah, unfortunately that doesn't happen. And after that, well, they get their dinner and such, and it comes from the Swedish chef. It was a pretty funny moment right there. And the Swedish chef wearing a fake mustache over his real mustache. I think, yeah, pretending to be Latin or something, I want to say. Yeah, but anyways. So unfortunately, that doesn't work. Then, at one point, Scooter, he comes up with a solution, starting a website that has to do with, getting letters out there and so on. And Floyd Pepper asking if anyone's signed up or anything like that, logged in. And Scooter saying that, haven't had a hit yet. And Animal stepping in and with a baseball bat and destroying Scooter's laptop. Because, the word hit. So, unfortunately, that doesn't work either. So, yeah. And to name some of the other Muppeteers, yeah, because, speaking of Scooter, because, yeah, well, because David Rudman, because this is one of the first times that, yeah, he became like the official puppeteer / voice of Scooter and Janice, taking over, for the late Richard Hunt. Yeah, because Scooter and Janice being those Muppet characters of Richard Hunt's. And as well as Matt Volg, yeah, because, when Jerry Nelson had officially retired, but not really because he still did some voice work just for Sesame Street, most notably Count Von Count. He continued to voice Count Von Count until, he would sadly pass away, yeah. So Matt Volg, taking over as Floyd Pepper, of course, and as well as New Zealand, technically, Bill Beretta, he did perform New Zealand a few times, but yeah, because this is where, Matt Vogel officially took over for being New Zealand, as well as Camilla the Frog and Robin the Frog. And again, as I mentioned, he voiced the Sun Pigeon, so yeah. So yeah, for both Matt Vogel and David Ruman taking over a lot of the Muppet characters that were originally puppeteered and voiced by Jerry Nelson and Richard Hunt. So, yeah, nice. And also the other Muppeteers, well, because some of them being credited doing additional Muppets. Tim Legacy, if I'm saying his last name right, Peter Lenz, Noel McNeil, not only doing Sweetums, but he did additional Muppets as well. Jim Martin, Paul McGuinness, if I'm saying his last name right, Martin P. Robinson, the puppeteer / voice of Telly Monster and Snuffleupagus on Sesame Street. In this, he was the voice and puppeteer of Crazy Harry. So yeah. And also, other additional Muppets, because, there was one moment where, what's-him-face, he he was puppeteering Rizzo and had one line that was not spoken by Steve Whitmire, but yeah, anyways, so... Alright, so again, like I said, unfortunately Scooter's idea didn't work, and it seems like that's about it. Like, they've tried everything they could, and, well, it's getting near, well, nighttime and Christmas Eve and Christmas Day upon them, and all of the Muppets, from Miss Piggy and the Electric Mayhem, they're going to be going on vacation. Miss Piggy, once again, being upset towards Kermit, and going to the Caribbean without him. And, well, even, Kermit, apologizes to Gonzo and saying that they've done all they could, and, even Rizzo and Pepe, they call it quits too, so, especially Pepe, yeah, so there's nothing else that they can do. And also, yeah, Scooter, feeling sorry, but he tried all that he could too, especially with the website that he did, so, sadly, that had no luck. So, after that, well, Gonzo, feeling sad, and, that's when, we get the second song number. It's all about heart. And it's another good song number. Yeah, all three song numbers, and I'm gonna say it again, because, later on, they're all good. And yeah, It's All About Heart is a pretty good one, Gonzo starting off singing, and then Kermit and Fozzie joining in, and then Pepe and Rizzo, and because that's when, all hope is not lost, and maybe they can do it. And this time, actually going to the North Pole. Kermit wasn't sure about it at first, but this time, yeah, they're really going. So, yeah. Them proceeding on to the airport, and right when the song finishes, well, another guest appearance that we get in this, Whoopi Goldberg as the taxi driver. And, Whoopi Goldberg, always great in any Muppet material that she's been in. Especially since, from this and It's a Very Merry Muppet Christmas, and her appearance in the 2011 Muppets film. Yeah. Being a good sport, and doing anything with the Muppets. Even say Sesame Street. Yeah, so her's the taxi driver, pretty funny, and, telling them the price, the bill and such, of... It's funny, and if the Muppets have any money on them, but we don't see it, but, they proceed on to the airport. Hopefully it turned out fine for them in paying the taxi driver. So when they make it to the airport, well, it just so happens, when they're trying to figure out, how they're specifically going to get to the airport, and if there's any airlines that are strictly, going to the North Pole, well, just so happens that there is one. North Pole Airlines, and Pepe just, saying, "You have got to be kidding me." Yeah. And, yeah, so they're in luck. There happens to be an official North Pole Airlines. And like I mentioned, one of the Muppeteers that filled in for Steve Whitmire while he was puppeteering and voicing Kermit, did Rizzo, and he had one line that was not dubbed by Steve Whitmire, "Who wants to fly to the North Pole?" and such. When watching this on Disney Plus, and maybe you guys noticed this too, any of you that know what I'm talking about, and you got to see the original version, like when it was on TV, or say on DVD, I'm pretty sure, yeah, it did make its way on the DVD release. Where on Disney Plus, they muted it, and they kind of cut it, and just... Why? I mean, and for that matter, why didn't Steve Whitmire dub, doing for Rizzo? I don't know. It's just one of those things, and come on, is it really that bad? It's a quick line, and it goes by quick. I don't know, but it's just one of those things, But anyways, so yeah. So again, they're in luck that, there happens to be a North Pole Airlines, and, well, the main lady at the front desk, named Joy. And another guest appearance for this, Uma Thurman. Yep, Uma Thurman, she was good in this. Yeah, and she's a great actress. Yeah, she does not disappoint in this. Her, playing the character of Joy. Pepe is just... Because, again, we know he's a ladies' man / prawn. So, Joy helping out the Muppets and getting tickets for them, and even offering a candy cane to them. It's just so funny. And Pepe in all hots for Joy, and just, yeah. And Joy having a little fan. And it was very nice of her, because blowing some cool air for Pepe. Yeah, and Fozzie having to carry him away from there, just, yeah. And when they go through the luggage scanner and such, well, another guest appearance in this, Officer Meanie, being played by good old Nathan Lane, and alongside with him, Bobo the Bear, because we know Bobo the Bear at times would sometimes play the part of a security bear or something like that in a suit. Like, most notably, Muppets from Space, or the 2011 Muppets film, where you had him alongside with Uncle Deadly, them working alongside with Tex Richmond, so, you know. So yeah, Bobo alongside with Nathan Lane, and Officer Meanie is getting very suspicious towards the Muppets. But what for? Because, I don't know. And some funny moments that happen while they're going through the scanner, like, most notably for Pepe and Gonzo. For Pepe, well, Rizzo points out to Pepe that he's got to unload every single metal piece, electronic stuff in his pockets, and berries and such that he says, even a picture of Halle Berry. And for Gonzo, well, apparently he hadn't been at the hospital or doctor for a while, so he went through the scanner and his body being scanned, and apparently, like, he has a trumpet inside of him. He accidentally swallowed a trumpet? As we know, of course, that being one of his signatures, blowing a trumpet. And it always it doesn't play the right tune. So yeah. Poor Gonzo. But yeah. And then, yeah, it just gets a bit out of hand when, Officer Meanie and Bobo approach them. And even when Fozzie, he made a joke, a shark joke, related to Christmas, and technically a reference to Jaws. So, yeah. And, yeah, so they get arrested, and they're brought into the office. Even Bobo, because he tackled Fozzie, and because he had, said a joke, and it's illegal, apparently, to be telling a joke or something in the airport, and Bobo called Fozzie Yogi Bear. Okay. Anyway, so, yeah. So, what's the real reasoning and the meaning of this for Officer Meanie bringing them in when they've done nothing? And all they're trying to do is just get to the North Pole. That's it. And Officer Meanie, well, because then he explains that, that he's basically a bully. He's been a bully all his life, and, even when he was a kid. And, well, because, even mentioning to the Muppets that, he wrote a letter to Santa, but unfortunately, he never got what he wanted. What it is that he wanted to get for Christmas was a very nice red tricycle with the bell, and a couple of times where Officer Meanie and Bobo, they go ding ding. And why he never got what he asked for out of anything for Christmas, well, because he was put on the naughty list. Yeah, so. But, thankfully, and when all they're trying to do is just get to the North Pole, and explaining this to Officer Meanie, and if will he let them off the hook? Well, thankfully, he does. Yep. He lets them off the hook and, tells them to go deliver those, letters, go! And don't we all love Nathan Lane's yelling? I don't know, it's just one of those, yellings from actors and such that's just fun to listen to, you know what I mean? And especially Nathan Lane being one of them, so, and just his interaction with the Muppets in this, fantastic, especially with Bobo. Yeah, and even Bobo, he was actually gonna tag along with them, you said go, not you, so... And unfortunately, because they got brought in by Officer Meanie, they missed the flight. Almost. Well, because all seats are booked, and how else are they going to get to the North Pole? Well, once again, Joy pops in, and because they are about to miss the flight, not, book any seats, well, Joy has an idea / a solution. They hang on to one of the wings, and that's what happens, literally. They have to hold on for their dear lives as the plane makes its destination to the North Pole. And eventually, and 3 hours passed. Really? It took them that long? Well, it's understandable, because, they came from New York and going to the North Pole. So, yeah, that's understandable, the more you think about it. And how far it would take, especially by, traveling by air. So, yeah. Anyways, so when they finally approach the North Pole, that's when, and Gonzo tells them that they need to let go of the wing. And they do, and thus they fly straight down to the North Pole, but thankfully, of course, they survive, and they land on, nice, soft snow, and well, specifically, snow in the North Pole, yeah. Even, like, one moment where Gonzo, he's, like, upside down and buried, his legs and feet are sticking out, and they try to help him get Gonzo out of there, but he had already unburied himself, so, yeah. And they just so happen to arrive exactly where Santa's workshop is. And thus, when they find and spot Santa's workshop, they make their destination there, and hopefully Santa could still be there. However, they are greeted by an elf, and another guest appearance that we get is the one and only Paul Williams. Yeah, Paul Williams being a staple of the Muppet family. Well, because we all know Paul Williams doing a lot of the music and score for, a good chunk of Muppet materials. And from the beginning, since, Paul Williams guest starred on The Muppet Show, and when he, did the music and songs for Emmett Otter's Jump Band Christmas, and right after that, the first ever Muppet film, which of course being The Muppet Movie. Yeah, and from there on. Also, another biggie to mention, having a big part of the Muppets family, directing a lot of Muppets materials, Kirk Thatcher. Yeah, we all know Kirk Thatcher, because, him being the director of Letters to Santa, and as I mentioned, he's directed a lot of other Muppet materials. I tell you, like, rather they be, say, on TV, or any specials like this one, or even, say, if any of you guys remember this, because on the Disney Cruise Line, the Detective Agency, those portraits, and one of them being the Muppets, he directed the footage for that of the Muppets. Yeah, so I had gotten to play it, and it was really fun. But anyways, so again, they're greeted by an elf, again, played by good old Paul Williams, and, well, unfortunately, the elf informs them that Santa is not here, and, well, because they need to drop off and deliver letters to him and maybe actually physically meet him, well, that's not possible, according to the elf, and telling them that they should have probably, well, dropped them off at the post office, but they were unable to. So, yeah. Unfortunately, seems like they won't be meeting Santa and not delivering the letters to him after all. I mean, at least the elf wasn't being a jerk to them. He was just informing them and so on, yeah. And wishing them a Merry Christmas and just, trying to make a specific Christmas quote, but, oh, it's every year, this, just, yeah. And Gonzo especially, yeah, feeling like a letdown, especially towards Claire, because he didn't want to let Claire down, and he told her himself that he was going to deliver her letter to Santa. But that seems like it, wasn't going to happen. And Gonzo taking some time of his own, being alone. And then we come to our third and final song, which, yeah, because being I Wish I Could Be Santa Claus. Gonzo starts singing, and then Fozzie joins in, feeling very sorry, especially for Gonzo. Going on wishing, that, them being Santa and what they would want to do as Santa and so on. It's a pretty good song. It definitely is. And, the Muppets, they've never disappointed with any song number that they had done where, it could be so emotional and touching, just, yeah, never fails. But, however, once they were finished with the song number, well, snow starts to come down, and, well, maybe possibly Santa's nearby, and they heard, well, he might have heard the song that they were singing, and Pepe telling them that you would think that Santa would come here and just, yeah, and then Santa starting to ho, 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 and sure enough, enter Santa Claus. Yep, Santa himself. And Santa Claus being played by, and another guest appearance, the late Richard Griffiths, a.k.a. Uncle Vernon from Harry Potter, and amongst other great films that he's been in. Great British actor, yeah. And you know what? He was good as Santa. Yeah, always got to choose a really great actor, and whomever it is, like rather on screen or voice acting, to be Santa. Yeah. Richard Griffiths, he was no disappointment whatsoever. Yeah, so Santa heard the song, and, now they can, give the letters to him, and with no problem. And even with a little help from Joy. Yeah, Joy pops out and, has them climb on board Santa's sleigh, and from there on, yeah, they take off, and yeah. And, well, the letters that Santa reads, actually, two of them, unexpectedly, from the Muppets, like, they had no idea. One of them comes from Pepe himself, and because all this time he didn't believe, he actually did write a letter to Santa, even telling his friends that, deep down, he has heart, and he's a caring prawn, so, yeah, he has feelings. Why would he not, And, yeah, because the letter that he wrote to Santa, and, well, Santa knew exactly what Pepe wanted, and that is being an opera singer, and that's what happens. But then Santa has Pepe stop, singing opera, and then reading the next letters. One of them, unexpectedly and unbeknownst to Kermit and the gang, well, this one comes from Officer Meany. Apparently, he must have slipped in a letter for, to those letters that they were going to take to the North Pole. Yeah. In Officer Meany's letter, he asked Santa if he could be removed from the naughty list. And this time, he did do a good thing, having the Muppets proceed on to the North Pole, etc. Yeah. And in the end, and we would one last time see Officer Meany, he did, after all, get his red tricycle. Yeah, ding, 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 as Bobo and Officer Meany, they say it. And the final letter from Claire. Yeah, finally Gonzo got the letter from Claire to Santa. And Santa reading the letter, and then, yeah, transitions from Santa's voice to Claire's about Christmas and, well, it having to do with friends and wanting friends to be there and so on. Well, and specifically, obviously she's referring to her Muppet friends, and most notably Gonzo, because, well, Gonzo and the rest of the Muppets gang being away during the holidays. Yeah. So yeah. Now that he's finally read the letter, well, not long after, Santa drops Kermit and the gang back to the apartment building, and all of the Muppets are there to surprise Claire being with her on Christmas, and, a bit of a surprise for Claire's mom, and asking her if, they can come in, please, and even the Muppets go, please, and she's more than happy for them to come in, and yeah. And it's funny, because Sweetums bringing in a tree, a Muppet turkey bringing in a turkey, the Swedish chef also being there, New Zealand, giving a Christmas present, which being fish, Claire's mom being scared at first by Rizzo and the rats, but, she tells them it's okay. Any friend of Pepe's is a friend of mine, and Pepe, of course, hitting on Claire's mom. Yeah. And surprisingly, Miss Piggy shows up. Yeah. Because she says that who else would, rub sunscreen, whatever she says, on her back, and obviously she's referring to her Kermie, so yeah. But overall, it's great to see that, yeah, Miss Piggy did come, and I'm sure, though, no doubt that, somewhere deep down inside, Miss Piggy does have heart. Well, and especially because when she did join in singing a couple of times in the song numbers. And yeah, one last bit of singing from the Muppets and, funny stuff that happens there. Like, well, Beaker once again showing up and his girlfriend being with him. Honeydew cutting in line, may I cut in? Not dancing with Beaker's girlfriend, he dances with Beaker. Well then, yeah, because there have been a couple of jokes, with Honeydew and Beaker. If you know, just, yeah, it's hard to tell, but anyways. And even, I think, this was one of the first few times where we got to hear Ralph speak, and, well, Bill Beretta, not only being the puppeteer, but also the new main voice for Ralph, and, yeah. And say what you will, because I'm aware of this, that it's been said that, that at that time, nobody else would be doing the voice of Ralph because, well, only Jim Henson being the voice of Ralph, and how much, Ralph was connected with Jim Henson. I don't know. I'm sure you guys would think so too, as I do, because I think it's okay that, Ralph got to talk once again, and this time Bill Beretta being the new official voice for Ralph. Well, I mean, because, there were a couple of times that Ralph did speak in past Muppet materials, like The Muppet Show Live, if anybody knows about that. Ralph had a few speaking lines, and, well, some YouTube videos that came from the Muppets themselves, Ralph talking as well, and from there on, when it came to the 2011 Muppets film, so, yeah. And also, the Electric Mayhem are there too. All of the Muppets, who were originally going to be away for the holidays, they all came together, specifically for Claire, yeah. What a great way to end it off, with all of the Muppets together, and with Claire and her mother, and the Christmas gifts that they open, and even, say, one of them being, matching sweaters for Claire and her mother. Nice. And another breaking the fourth wall moment where Miss Piggy points out to Kermit, we should be talking to them, and just, oh, Merry Christmas to one and all, and thank you, Kermit, that means a lot. You too, and to the rest of the Muppets, without a doubt. Yeah. Also, there were some bloopers that were shown, specifically on the DVD release, and they are technically out there on YouTube. Actually, I actually watched them a little earlier before recording this review. The bloopers are hilarious, on the bonus features as well during the end credits. Again, specifically on the DVD release. A few of my favorites, well, one with, there's a little bit with, say, Nathan Lane and Bobo, and Bobo is cracking up Nathan Lane, and we know that great wheezing laugh that Nathan Lane has, I can't really imitate it, but and one of the last ones that was shown, Kermit opening a door and a big bright light, and Kermit saying, "Oh look, it's heaven, oh." Even it got some of the crew laughing. I think one of them was Bill Beretta. I think that was his laugh. And apparently, does anybody remember this too? Because clips of Letters to Santa, but they're dubbed with a song, Glad I Want Ya, if you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, so, well, yeah, overall, pretty good, because with the ending to Letters to Santa, the end credits, the bloopers, everything to it, yeah. Yeah, so, A Muppet's Christmas, Letters to Santa, is a pretty good, decent Muppet Christmassy special from beginning to end. The story, pretty good, and with what goes on, and with the Muppets, the guest stars that we get in this, from Uma Thurman, Nathan Lane, Jane Kowski, again, if I'm mispronouncing her name, just, you know who I'm talking about, Whoopi Goldberg, Michael Bloomberg, Richard Griffiths, Jesse L. Martin, Petra Menkova, Madison Pettis, Tony Siriso, Paul Williams, Steve Sharipia, and everybody else, a part of Letters to Santa, and, with the funny moments that happen here and there, and a few emotional moments, because the Muppets are not only fantastic at delivering some great comedy, they also are really good at delivering some emotional stuff. And in this one, too. Yeah, they did pretty good in this. Yeah. And also, the funny moments that happen with, say, Stadler and Waldorf, the singing rat carolers, Sam the Eagle, all the other Muppets, and what they do in this. Even, say, Beaker, his girlfriend, Rizzo, Pepe, Kermit, Gonzo, Fozzie, Miss Piggy. Need I go on? Just, yeah. Also, not that many funny moments with Animal. Hardly at all. I mean, there are a few deleted scenes, and I'm sure you've seen some of them. One of them is, mentioning of a hard rock that Janice can't wait to lay on, and Animal bringing out a large rock. Even one deleted scene where after Crazy Harry, did somebody say so-and-so? Because slow snail Muppets start to, run. Just, yeah, the deleted scenes were good too, and if you've by any chance seen them. Yeah, and the songs that we get in Letters to Santa, they're all really good. I've said that before, and I'll once again say it. Yeah, they're really good. Well, and especially since they come from Paul Williams himself. Yeah, and the music and score, really good too. Yeah, just overall, Letters to Santa is a really good Muppets Christmassy special. And I'm giving A Muppet's Christmas Letters to Santa, I'm giving it, 8 out of 10 stars. Yes, 8 out of 10 stars for A Muppet's Christmas Letters to Santa. And what about you guys? What did you think of A Muppet's Christmas Letters to Santa itself? Is it one of your top favorite Muppets Christmas specials? Right next to, say, It's a Very Merry Muppet Christmas, A Muppet Family Christmas, or even say, like, Muppets Christmas Carol, just anything that the Muppets have done during the holiday season. What were some of your favorite moments and your favorite guest stars in Letters to Santa? And which were some of your favorite songs? And did you get good laughs? And just overall, what do you think of A Muppet's Christmas Letters to Santa itself? And with what I've had to say, my review, and what did you think of my review? Leave comments and give this review video a like, as always. And so, with all that being said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of A Muppet's Christmas Letters to Santa. More review videos are coming your way. They're going to be awesome. Keep looking forward, and I'll see you guys in the next video / review. And, well, of course, continuing on reviewing more Christmassy materials on the weekends. Stay tuned, because what I'll be reviewing next, well, it's something else Disney, and let's just say, and to best describe it, it takes place in the tri-state area. I'm sure you guys probably know exactly what it is that I'm talking about. Again, stay tuned for that. Take care, and peace out. Waka waka waka!